In fact, this comes into something that I wanted to talk to you about today. I thought you might like how to play, like for example, if we were in a rock and roll context, or even a metal, like an 80s metal or whatever context, where we would, let's say we want to play a melodic solo, and how do we really make our solo melodic? And it basically depends on your adherence to the chords and to the specific tones that make those chords what they are. And that's how then you really get a melodic sounding solo rather than a scalar sounding solo, or a solo that sounds like the notes aren't the best ones, but they're still correct. So how can they be correct and not be the best ones? And what makes it the best one? It has a lot to do with chord tones and things. So what you would want to do, what you would want to do is when you play, instead of thinking about alternating between your scales or even your pentatonics, just think about the notes and how they relate to the chord. Meaning, like you could train yourself to just nail chord tones only, you know. So like let's take a 12-bar blues, even though it's not a rock song, just because everybody knows the form. Let's go ahead and do it in minor first of all. All right. So we have A minor. All right. Now, if I want to play notes that will basically tell you the chord, even if there's no rhythm guitar player, you know, if I played this, bloop, 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 you know, it's like, what chord is this all over, you know? Or it could be even harder to tell, like, it's like, what chord am I actually hearing here? So what we want to do is we want to hear mostly chord tones. So let's just start off really simple, like this, where we do like the root. Okay? And then the third. The minor third. Yeah. Because I'm just doing minor chords, so we stick to our regular minor pentatonic. Now, a person should already know what the chord is, because these are the most important chord tones in our triad. The fifth doesn't matter, because if it were major or minor, it would still be, they still would have a regular fifth. So these are our most important tones. So if we played, you know, I went down to the flat 7 just to give a little something extra, but still that's a chord tone if you look at the 7th chord sounding as chord tones. And then we got a D minor. Now look, I could play the same thing, right? But doing so won't tell you very explicitly what the chord is. Okay? So doing this over the minor, and then it'll work in a way because the phrasing is like, hey guys, you can get used to this. It's not all over the map. And so it's good phrasing, but if we want to hear the most important tones of the chord, we're probably going to want to get a minor third in there for our D minor, which is different than our minor third for our A minor. So if we did this A minor, right? Then when the D minor comes, maybe we do like this. Oh, wow, that scared me. Oh, let me get that real quick just to turn it off. It's my phone. So yeah, we want to, like for example, if I could do this on a 12-bar blues, first chord, second chord, and back to the first chord, and then let's say the 5 chord, and then the 4 chord, and then the 1 chord. Now I pretty much mostly just played all the worst notes I could play. For the most part. Like what I played didn't describe the chords, you know, and we need to describe the chords so a person can hear them. I mean, this is kind of the secret to getting really melodic solos. Check this out. It's Seinfeld with Godzilla. Why do they call and hang up so fast? Jesus. Anyways, ridiculous. Okay. Anyway, how am I going to listen to my jam if they hang up the phone? All right. So anyway, so here's a better example now. Just observe and see if you can hear the chords coming and going. I could do that better still. Like, here's our first one. To our next one. And then back to our first. And then to the E. And then to the D. And then to the A. And then to the E. Okay. Now, if I knew the chords better than just this one pentatonic scale, I could even be even more explicit, like this, let's say. We've got the E chord, and I could go... It's like, wow, something fancy happened here, you know? Well, it's because the E, I did it if it's an E7 chord. I did the third. And then to the D minor. And then to the A. You know? And then maybe the E. So what's really cool now is like the E chord, it kind of allows us to play that major 7 in the minor pentatonic scenario like we did before. So then I could play A minor to my D, back to the A, and then when it goes to the E, to the D, and then to A, and then to the E. Anyway, but yeah, so what you need to do is outline the chord as much as you can, you know. So you could do A. Let's do it in dominant chords now. So we had A7. To the D. To the A7. And then to the E. To the D, and then to the A, you know? And then you can hear the chords coming and going. So I'll just demonstrate that for a second.